This is Odax5 on the afternoon of Monday, 1st of May. This will be a theory as to why Big Mom is who she is, how this arc will end, how the next arc will end. I will give you everything you will need to know. If you don't want to be spoiled, close this video. Basically, there are two important, crucial obsessions of Big Mom that we know of. One, she wants to be a giant. She wants to have a family of giants. She wants to experiment on people to make them giants. She is willing to actually hire scientists, villains in this case, like Caesar Clown, to experiment on children just for that cause. We do not know the reason yet as to why she is so interested in creating giants, but we just know that she is. Two, the other thing about her personality is the picture frame. This picture frame is really important to her. It's always present at important events, and she goes crazy if anyone touches it. I will start discussing the second point first. If we are happy to accept that Big Mom's devil fruit deals with souls and that she can take souls from people and that she can put souls inside things like teacups, doors, etc., and that she can keep the souls to herself if she so wishes, then this tells you that Big Mom is the same person seen inside that frame. There's no two ways about this. The same person, same old free lady that you see smoking a cigarette inside that frame is Big Mom the Yonko. Why is that? Let me explain. The reason is she had acquired that devil fruit and something happened. Something we don't know exactly. Something happened that caused her to die, maybe get injured. We don't know exactly, but something happened to her and then she had to transfer her soul into something else. Just like she did with Zeus, Prometheus, like she did with all the trees and shit, all the homies. From that photograph, we can guess that she was tiny, perhaps a dwarf, which explains the first point about her obsession with giants. The frame is really important because whilst part of her soul is in the Big Mom that we see, just like her soul is inside Zeus and Prometheus and much of Toadland, much of her soul and remaining identity are also locked within that frame. That is why it's so important. There is precedent for this. Remember the Biscuit Minister? Knowing this aspect of Big Mom probably inspired him to use his ability to create hard bodies to use in fights. He is emulating his mother, creating a big body to fight whilst his real body is elsewhere. If you think about it, it is actually quite similar to Brook and how he died but remained alive due to the special powers of his devil fruit. If the Big Mom has eaten a devil fruit that allows her to manipulate souls and insert her soul into things, this devil fruit could just be a variation of Brook's devil fruit. Remember, Gecko Moria's devil fruit could also be considered a variation of this devil fruit, seeing as he can manipulate souls through shadows. We have already seen devil fruits that are variations of the same thing. Think Ace and Akaino, Lava and Fire. Think Maccavice and Miss Valentine, the Tonto no Mi and the Kilo Kilo no Mi. Think Monet and Aokiji, Snow and Ice. Now, why is all of this so important? It is important because the massive Big Mom you see will most certainly be disposed of at some point in this arc. And the identity and importance of this frame, this photo frame, as the container of the real Big Mom's soul will become apparent. There's a reason why she goes crazy when anyone touches the damn thing. Now, what does this mean? It means that there are actually two Big Moms and not one. And actually, Big Mom is going to be, wait for this, a good person. Big Mom will be an ally of the Straw Hats. Let me explain. Remember what Lola said in chapter 489. This Viva card I received from my mama. If you ever have a problem, you can follow it and meet with my mother. At that time, tell her that I'm doing fine as well if you could. In the mind of Lola, who knows her mother, she thinks of her in a positive light as someone who would be an ally of the Straw Hats. Someone who cares about her own well-being. Now, having seen Big Mom's reaction when the Straw Hats mentioned Lola, how can Lola confidently give the Straw Hats Big Mom's Viva card and tell them to seek her out in the new world if she knew Big Mom was angry at her for running away? Shit makes no sense. The truth is that, in fact, Big Mom was never angry at Lola, and Lola left Big Mom on good terms. If that is not the case, and in fact Big Mom was angry at Lola for running away, would Lola even have Big Mom's Viva card in the first place? We know that not even Big Mom's children are allowed to carry her Viva card. The only way Lola could have gotten her hands on the Viva card is by stealing it or receiving it from Big Mom. So if we assume that Big Mom does not resent Lola and that they separated on good terms because Lola would not lie to the Straw Hats, then how come she appears to be hateful towards Lola and evil actually in this arc? Again, it makes no sense. The answer is she is evil because of the one person on that island who can change people's perception of things through manipulating their memories. You know who I'm talking about. That is Pudding. Lola has good memories of her mother. Why else would she tell them to go seek her mom out if they're ever in a pinch, if she did not think she would be a good person to them? We can conclude that Lola's memories are correct and she is not lying. But the lie is in fact coming from Pudding. And Pudding somehow managed to change Big Mom and manipulate her into this weird bipolar person through that devil fruit power. Now, if Pudding gets done, destroyed, killed, whatever you want to call it, then obviously this will have some effect on everyone else. Everyone she manipulated. Everyone she affected through that devil fruit in the past. Think about what happened when Sugar was knocked out in the previous arc. All the toys became human again. A similar thing will happen in this arc. Mark my words. Make no mistake about this. Pudding gets either killed or KO'd at some point, and all that messed up shit she did, the manipulation of other people's memories, gets reset and the truth will resurface. Then Big Mom will return to her former self, the Big Mom that Lola knew, the one that Lola remembered, which is when the Straw Hats will use the Viva card and Lola's signature to prove they were friends. And this will in turn make Big Mom an ally of the Straw Hats. Remember that the signature was never used. Lola's signature, she signed the Viva card. She signed it for a reason. And that was not used yet. Are you listening to this? The Big Mom body we see is just an empty vessel with part of Big Mom's soul inside of it. It is similar to Zeus, Prometheus, as I said, the homies, the cutlery, the goddamn flying carpet. It's an empty vessel. Even Beige described it as an iron balloon. This is why the photo frame and the photograph are so important. The plan will most certainly succeed, and we will see the massive lady we currently refer to as Big Mom destroyed. And then the reveal will be that it was another puppet all along. Make no mistake about this prediction. Now, why do I keep stressing the fact that she will become an ally? And what will her role be post-reconciliation with the Straw Hats? Ask yourself this question. Where are the Straw Hats headed next? All of this Stokeland arc is a sideshow to retrieve Sanji and give him some screen time. This is, after all, the year of Brook. The next major arc is Kaido, a man who cannot die. How is he going to be defeated? This is a very, very important question. Well, it just so happens that the Straw Hats will become allies with the only person who can literally take your life. Do you hear what I'm saying? How convenient is all of this? The fact that they went to meet Big Mom, someone who was hinted at earlier in the series to come and help them, to come to their aid. The only person who can take souls before going to fight a Yonko who literally cannot be killed tells you everything you need to know. The Alliance will probably fight Kaido and weaken him so much, but they will never be able to kill him. Now guess what? Big Mom will finish that job. Mark my words. How badass is that shit? And Kaido will probably be grateful to them for killing him. After all, he has been trying to die for a very, very long time. Kaido will probably die a happy man. And as a side note, the fact that he cannot be killed makes me think, just how long has this man been alive? Could it be hundreds of years? Could it be since the Void Century? Could he have lived during the Void Century? This is what I'm looking forward to the most, knowing that aspect of the story. How long has this man been alive? If Big Mom is able to kill him by taking his soul, he might even be so grateful to this alliance that he instructs his crew to help them at some point in the future. Do you know what that means? More allies for Luffy to help him in the final war. After all, he has been making allies at every stop of his journey. And I believe this is important for the final war, as it won't be his crew against the government. It would most certainly be a war of pirates versus the world government. I will tell you this. We know that the next arc will be centered around taking down Yonko, Kaido. Luffy and Law are already planning to do just that. We know that Kid, Apu, and Hawkins have already had an encounter with Kaido, and we have seen in the manga that Kid is locked up there as well. We also saw a panel where Apu is reporting to Kaido that they have lost communication with Jack, referring to Kaido as Lord Kaido, Kaido-sama. It is therefore safe to assume that Apu and Hawkins have joined Kaido as well, while Kid did not, and that is why he is locked up. We also know that X-Drake is part of Kaido's crew. We also saw Kaido meeting with Uruj before he attempted suicide in the chapter where he was introduced in the manga. So we have 10 out of 11 supernovas involved in this arc, including Zoro and Killer. We're talking about the Kaido arc. The only one missing is Bonnie, and I strongly believe that she will also be involved in the arc somehow. There is no way she will be left out when all of the other supernovas are involved. Do you understand what I'm trying to say here? I'll give you a moment to put the pieces of the puzzle together. The next arc involving Kaido will unite all of the supernovas against Kaido. Boom! Remember the last time they were all together at Shippondi? They were fighting together against the Marines too. So far in the New World, we have seen Oda replicate some things from the first half of the manga, providing a somewhat more intense version of the plot in the next part, in the next half. Because the New World is meant to be a more cruel / violent part or aspect of the story and the world. For example, Arabasta and Dressrosa were similar in terms of plotline, yet the intensity and violence was higher in Dressrosa. Another example is Arlong Park versus Fisherman Island, and just like Marineford marked the end of the first half, the second half will end with the final war. So if we accept that mirroring aspect of the story, then this upcoming Kaido arc could be a more intense version of the Shippondi arc where the Supernovas fought together against the Marines, except now they are fighting together against Kaido. You heard it first here, folks. Bye!